Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is JT from Above and Below the Belt. I want to talk about Robert Garcia and the interview on the Voxing Voice, and they was asking him a couple of questions, and it was some things that I disagree with him when he was saying. He was talking about a couple of things they asked him, and they was talking about Terrence Crawford beating Mikey Garcia, and then Robert Garcia said, well, Denny Garcia, well, I think one of the people on the Voxing Voice is talking about Denny Garcia beat Terrence Crawford, and then Robert Garcia said, well, yeah, and he said, well, if that's the case, then yeah, but my nephew, I forgot his nephew's name. He's not a boxer, right? He's not a boxer. He was in the amateurs, but this is we talking about the amateurs on an amateur level. He said his nephew beat Terrence Crawford in the amateurs. But he said something about as in it was like a 3-round in the amateurs. It was 3 rounds, but he said something about like they made it go an extra round, which is 4 rounds, and he said his nephew won 3 rounds, or whatever. I guess 2 out of 3 or whatever. But he said the 4th round then they gave it to Terrence Crawford, and he said it was because of favorite politics and stuff like that. I'm thinking to myself like nobody know who Terrence Crawford is. I mean, Terrence Crawford wasn't who he is right now. That wasn't the Terrence Crawford. I mean, everybody's on the amateur level. Ain't no what is politics? What is political about that? Politics. What do politics have to do with the amateur level? I can see right now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We know Terrence Crawford is a big star and stuff like that, and they give it to the big star. It don't matter what race or what nationality you is, what ethnic background you are, whatever. But in the amateur level, everybody's on the same playing field, I would say. You know what I'm saying? And he said they gave it to him. They gave him the 4th round. That means he won. That mean that the fight was kind of closer. And the thing about it, the reason why they probably wanted to go an extra round because they didn't know who won. It probably was a draw. You know what I'm saying? But he's biased because that was his nephew. I never seen the tape, and he was there. But at the same time, I can't go off of what he says because he's trying to like somewhat take up for what Mikey lost against Terrence Crawford to a certain point. I mean, you know, since try to make him seem more vulnerable. He's a man. He's not a superhuman or whatever and all that. You know what I'm saying? He can be stopped, which he can. I mean, anybody can be stopped. You know, so you just got to come with the right game plan, and it depends on styles make fights. But another thing that Robert Garcia was talking about, he was talking about as in they asked him will he took the fight at the same time, and I'm thinking to myself, if he was in his brother's shoes, will he took the Errol Spence fight, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, it seemed like he didn't answer that question. He really didn't answer that question when they was asking him that. And to me, it seemed like he wouldn't took the fight. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about there was some Fernando Vargas and that fight that he took with Trinidad, and that kind of his career was going downhill from there when he lost that fight, and then he fought Oscar De La Hoya and he lost that fight. He was winning the fight with Oscar De La Hoya until it took one punch, and that changed the whole outcome of the fight to a certain degree. It was a long time ago when I seen that fight. I gotta look at that fight again. But it kind of ended his career, and he probably got a big payday for it, but it kind of stopped him from getting the other paydays that could have, you know what I'm saying, could have made him more money at the same time, whatever. And if he would have stayed in there, his career, I know his career would have been different if he would have stood up in there. I mean, stayed in there like another 3 or 4 years, whatever. But it depends on who you fight to at the same time. And he didn't answer that question. You know what I'm saying, right? You know, for me, I think the question was no. He would not did that, but he didn't want to make his brother look kind of bad, whatever, and all that, or make his brother feel some type of way, because he didn't want Mikey Garcia to take the fight with Errol Spence, and his daddy didn't want him to take that fight with Errol Spence Jr. Another thing too, I forgot to mention in my last video about Mikey Garcia. They said somebody. He said he don't do sit-ups, he don't do push-ups, and he don't do pull-ups, whatever, and all that. Which which I had to think about that. I'm thinking that I said something about him lifting weights and stuff like that, and that could probably do it too at the same time. But you know, one thing is, let me tell you something. I don't think as a boxer, you don't have to lift weights. You can do, I think the mandatory, I mean not the mandatory, but I think you should do sit-ups, pull-ups, and sit-ups. Sit-ups, pull-ups, and push-ups. And I think that he said he don't do that at all, which I'm kind of not believing that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that one bit. You know what I'm saying? He just, it's a picture that I have that I'm gonna show y'all. Which this picture right here. Look at his abs. Look at his abs right here. You see his abs? That means he does them. He just don't do a lot of them. You know, one thing is, I mean, you can do push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. You can do them, but he just don't do a lot of it. You telling me that this dude is knocking down people and stuff like that? And think about this. Watch this. This is the thing too. He's got 39 wins and he got 30 knockouts. And you telling me you don't do no push-ups, sit-ups, and no pull-ups? I don't believe that. That you know, and you know what I'm saying, I'm not gonna say he's juicing. I'm not gonna say that at all. I don't believe he's juicing, but you never know at the same time. I mean, if you ain't doing none of that, that's strength. That should be recommended. That should be a recommended for your workout. You telling me you run all day and you just practice in the ring and you don't do none of that? No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that one bit. You know what I'm saying? And that's you know, I could be wrong, but I'm gonna go off what because I know I do push. I work in the gym myself. I do pull-ups, sit-ups, and I do weightlifting too at the same time. But you can get big from doing push-ups, and then you can work them abs by sitting up, do the sit-ups, and then the pull-ups is working on your back and your arms. So if you don't like to touch the weights. You know what I'm saying? I mean that if he does that, he can still knock out and knock down people with just doing that strength work, your strength regimen. That should be part of boxing. He said he doesn't do it at all. That's a lie. I don't believe that. And if you, I don't know who you fooling. I don't know what they talk about. They fooling. They telling y'all something that. If y'all don't know nothing about the gym purpose or dealing with somewhere boxing or something like that, that should be part of it. I would say this: he is the very first man on earth that never did no push-ups, no pull-ups, no sit-ups for a fight. He's the first man. I think everybody does that. Trust me. I think, man, let me tell you something. I think you can't just go in the ring and just work on your style and don't do no push-ups and no sit-ups. I can see not touching no weights. I can see that, but you can get big. You can do push-ups. It's like doing weight benching. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So he lying with that about the article that I read too at the same time talking about, not what Robert Garcia is talking about, but getting back to Robert Garcia too at the same time. It was something else that I wanted to talk about. What he said. He said something about Danny Garcia. It's not a disagreement, but it was. I had a video about Danny Garcia turn down the fight for turn down the offer that Terrence Crawford offered him, or Terrence Crawford team offered him, and Robert Easton said, I think Danny Garcia would have lost that fight, and I kind of agree with him with that. It just seemed like Terrence Crawford's the new boogeyman, because it seemed like Mikey Garcia don't want no part of Terrence Crawford. Danny Garcia don't want no part of Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence don't want to fight Terrence Crawford right now. Keith Thurman, he keep on talking shit about Terrence Crawford, but not saying he want to fight with him. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why Keith Thurman's talking about Terrence Crawford, because he's on the other side of the street. So to make that fight happen, it might take a little bit to make that fight happen compared to Errol Spence, because the reason why he's on Errol Spence's best side, because he's in the same camp as Errol Spence. He know that fight can happen anytime soon. You know, so it's not gonna take a long time to make that fight happen between Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. But Keith Thurman talking about Terrence Crawford having did shit in the welterweight division. He beat Horn. And he beat David Benavidez at the same time. On which these two fighters was undefeated, and he gave them their first loss. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna say they wasn't nobodies or bums and stuff like that, but I'm not saying they was A-level fighters either. But let me tell you this: Sean Porter at the time when he fought him, was he A-level fighter? And Danny Garcia, I mean, I think Danny Garcia was. Sean Porter, I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? But I think he did hand them their first loss too at the same time. So let me tell you this. I mean, yeah, Jeff Horn. That was Jeff Horn. But the thing about it is, I think I will say Sean Porter and Danny Garcia is a better fighters than Jeff Horn and David Benavidez. But that's me speculating. I don't know. We gotta, if they fight each other, you know what I'm saying, which we will have to see who's better of each other. But him saying this, he just trying to make himself relevant. He's not number one in the welterweight. He's I don't know what number he is. It's either the number one, number two position is Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? It's Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Keith Thurman, he's not number three. I put him, Sean Porter's number three. You know what I'm saying? Until he come back, I think I might put Keith Thurman, or it might be Danny Garcia, but I say Keith Thurman, but the first one and the second one right now is Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence Jr. in the welterweight division. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I just wanted to speak on that and stuff like that. And this is somewhat about what I disagree with, what Robert Garcia talking about. It was politics why his nephew lost against Terrence Crawford, and it was something about what I read in an article about Mike Garcia never does pull-ups, sit-ups, and push-ups and stuff like that, which I don't believe. And you know what I'm saying, that should be part of the boxing routine, whatever, for your strength. Because if he said he got strength in his arm, he's knocking out people. I remember Robert Eastern came into his doctor and said, "Man, what you got in your arm, man? What you got you hit hard." That comes from strength. That natural strength, man. I mean, honestly, you got natural strength, but you moving up on weight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you need to do push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups. You know what I'm saying, to get your strength to where you should want it to be. But not you telling me you don't do it at all. You just going to ring in this fight. Now I don't believe that at all. So if y'all have any questions about what I'm talking about, leave a comment at the bottom of my page. Subscribe to my page, like my page, hit the bell icon for new notification, new videos from me. This is JT from Bum Below the Belt. All right, bye.